Hey folks, it's Mack here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us now for the turning point in our Impact Wrestling save as we head after Bound for Glory. Press the reset button to an extent as we begin the run to Turning Point, the November pay-per-view, and the road to next year's Bound for Glory. It's going to be an interesting set of tapings because obviously we're still in a position where financially we need to tape all shows in the one night, and we are going to be missing a few people, which is going to be a wee bit detrimental to the plans going forward. As you can see here, we've Bea Priestley working for New Japan Pro Wrestling, Lio Rush of course is injured and via his maternity leave, and Taya Valkyrie, Phoenix and Matt Striker are all working for Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide. So that's your Impact World Champion, which is fair because I know for a fact when we will need him at the pay-per-view, he'll deliver. But it's also your former Knockouts Champion, so if we'd have kept it on Taya Valkyrie, we'd have lost her as well. And our head commentator, Matt Striker, is also working there, meaning that our announcer for these 4 shows is likely going to be Don Callis. I may add someone else into that, but I think it might just be Don on his own to see if he can salvage at least this taping, and then if we can change it if it is a poor rating. If we take up the full 125 minutes of this show, there's a little bit of build towards Turning Point, obviously a few matches set in stone off the bat. We're also going to have a major announcement from Kurt Angle straight in the first segment as we look to bring more importance to Impact Wrestling. So thanks for watching, let's jump in to this week's episode of Impact. So we're at the Thomas Stadium in Tennessee and we have 17 segments in tonight's Impact Wrestling. Not bad for 125 minutes, but we're cramming a lot into this week's taping. So to start the show, I had the matchmaker, Kurt Angle, come out. Now he made an announcement basically saying he was proud of what came down at Bound for Glory. We've got a new champion in the form of Phoenix, and he hopes that Impact Wrestling is going to continue to grow going forward. He believes that obviously the X Division is for a lot of the younger talents looking to make a breakthrough. There's obviously a World Championship, but he said he's got a lot of guys in that kind of, he doesn't want to say mid-card, but he says a lot of exciting prospects that are just not quite at the world title level, but we can add some more prestige to a lot more of the fights that we'll have going forward. We've had the TNA Legends Championship. Under this game it was under the King of the Mountain Championship. Obviously they did the Grand Championship, but the former Legends Championship, the former King of the Mountain Championship, whatever else TNA called over time, is returning, but Kurt Angle confirms this will be the Impact Wrestling, the Impact Television Championship, and this will be basically our equivalent of the Intercontinental and the US Championship, just giving us a solid bridge between what I want the X Division to be, kind of guys that don't really fit the X Division mold, but giving them something to fight for, and obviously you've got a World Championship held by Phoenix. Obviously because of the annoyance of losing the championship to Phoenix, Ace Austin comes out and he just says it's absolutely typical, guy wins the championship and he's nowhere to be seen, he won't be representing this brand for 4 weeks now. What was the point in putting him in that kind of match, he says to Kurt Angle. He says to him as well, he wants his rematch and he wants it as soon as possible. Kurt Angle makes it plain and simple. If you want to be the number 1 contender, I'll give you a number 1 contenders match tonight. Main event, Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards, and the winner can face Phoenix for the gold at Turning Point. Simple, effective angle. It gives us a 72 rating, which gives us a good base for the tight focus on our angle, so that'll be our best angle by far. I know these two are just 2 of the best talkers we've got. We also introduce a championship, and I feel it's a good way for a turning point and a reset into the next year of Impact Wrestling. Following on from what went down at, of course, Bound for Glory, the debut of Matt Riddle. He had a decent matchup as he defeated Anthony Bowens in 6:48 by submission via a guillotine choke. A 53 here, a very stellar performance from Riddle there with a 60. Bowens for a 37, of course, staring off the back of Riddle, accompanying and being the tag partner of Matt Cardona as they battled the Acclaimed. Matt Riddle, though, making lots of friends in Impact Wrestling as he heads to the back and he bumps into Well, not just Ken Shamrock, we may as well add in Joe Doring, we'll add in Eric Young, Violent by Design. And Ken Shamrock comes up to him and goes, former mixed martial artist, think you're a tough man? Don't think you could take me? Matt Riddle's just like, bro, seriously man, you're like 80? Just really poking fun at Ken Shamrock. Shamrock goes for him, and they have to be basically held apart from each other, but obviously building up to two former MMA artists against each other, and that was a 41. We then had some action in the X Division as we had Alex Shelley defeat Ultimo Vampiro in 5:43 with a Sharano. This was a 44, with the debuting of a new referee, Thomas Cairns of ICW fame. He debuted a staff member gimmick, which was awful. But the reason for this matchup, just giving Alex Shelley some momentum and Ultimo Vampiro some exposure to the US audience. What I've also decided as well is I'll probably book about 110 minutes of the show on storylines and the main guys and girls. But there will be 15 minutes, which will be two matches, which will be more showcase matches, where it will be a lesser known talent against a big name or a decent name that just allows them to get some TV experience and a bit more overless within the US, effectively, and then we can build them up from there. Basically like Suicide, but at a lot slower and gradual rate. Next up, we had a matchup that saw Ethan Page and TJP in action. It was about they had good heat and decent wrestling as Ethan Page defeats TJP in 10:27 with a spinning facebuster. A fairly respectable 54 here, both guys with great chemistry together, elevating both their performances. TJP off his game as All Ego picks up the win. Has a few words after this as he speaks about obviously the actions that he used at the end of his matchup at Bound for Glory, of course, ending the North and dropping Josh Alexander South. Basically he's just saying there, look at that victory, easy, and no Josh Alexander to hold me back. This is all about me fulfilling my ego and being all ego Ethan Page. So a 63 there. Will be interesting to hear Josh Alexander's response in the upcoming weeks. We then had an extremely short match. Luchasaurus continues the great run of form, a victory over Johnny Bravo with the betrayal after 3 minutes and 55. 41 rated segment, and a 50 plays a 32 performance with Luchasaurus off his game, but overall, simple, effective win for the dinosaur. Moving along with a decent matchup in the Knockouts division, Crazy Mary Dobson picks up the win over Madison Rain in 5:41 with a split-legged moonsault. Disappointingly, this matchup only delivers a 37 due to Madison Rain suffering a mild concussion that will of course take her out the rest of the tapings. But again, the victory here was to just give more momentum and overness towards Crazy Mary Dobson, trying to get the crowd to care about her. Then had a hype package just showcasing Suicide defeating Ricky Starks, of course no longer with us through that loan deal at Bound for Glory as he is your X Division champion, so promoting that was a 44. And then we had a matchup between Brian Pillman Jr. and Chris Sabin. Unfortunately they didn't click, which is a bit of a shame, but a decent reaction from the crowd, subpar wrestling, and we had Sabin pick up the win over Brian Pillman Jr. in 10:13 with the Cradle Shock. So some okay X Division action there, a 40 rated segment, and Brian Pillman Jr. benefiting from having a hot new move. Moving further on, we had a superb matchup in the tag division as FTR defeated Rich Swann and Willie Mack in 9:30 when Cash Wheeler pinned Willie Mack with the Shatter Machine, or Big Rig. Willie Mack was the weak link here, but a 59, you can see there, a 49 isn't even to be scoffed at here. It's still a good performance. It just shows the excellent level Rich Swann operates at, and Wheeler and Harwood as well. Of course they do get the boost from the excellent tag team chemistry, but they pick up a good win after losing the championships at Bound for Glory. Naturally, as you would expect though, they have a few words to say about that. It's just typical. The only way they lost their tag team championships was not being pinned. Of course, that was Josh Alexander, hence the split of the North. FTR says, it's alright, it's cool, we'll give the inflictors of pain their couple of weeks in the spotlight, but we'll be hampering onto management. We want to be champions again. means a bit more money for FTR, and we'll make sure that matchup happens at Turning Point. So that was a 52 promo. Then another backstage confrontation here between Jeff Hardy and Stu Grayson. Just basically Jeff just minding his own business, putting his face paint on. And Stu Grayson comes up and says, "This is the reason I cannot get opportunities here in Impact, where more and more people like you just decide to appear, and I just can't get any TV time. Just get the hell out of this company, you're causing nothing but grievance." This causes a host of road agents and staff to pull them apart in this 49 rated segment. You'll understand why I'm doing this in a minute. We then had Stu Grayson make his way to Kurt Angle, and he says he wants to face Jeff Hardy, and he wants him gone from Impact Wrestling. Now, just to say, obviously the game gives me the text as tonight this match is going to happen next week, but next week's taping we are going to see Stu Grayson versus Jeff Hardy. And Kurt Angle says, right, if you want Jeff Hardy gone, we'll need to put something on the line for this to happen. Loser leaves town matchup. Either Stu Grayson leaves Impact Wrestling or Jeff Hardy leaves Impact Wrestling. Stu Grayson's like, do you know what? I'm happy to put that on the line if it means getting rid of Jeff Hardy. I mean, I don't want to give away the spoiler of the result. I think you know who's obviously going to win. But EW offered an exclusive contract to Stu Grayson, so that's maybe why we're pushing that angle quickly. But I mean, the good thing about the taping is we'll have them all night before we lose them. We then had our women's division, our knockouts division. We had a terrible wrestling match with non-existent crowd heat. Jamie Hayter pinning Mystique in 7:28 by submission. Pinning. She just submitted her. I don't know why I said pinning. But at 29 here, the new Knockouts Tag Team Champion, Jamie Hayter, of course, alongside Ronda Rousey. One of them needs overness more than the other, and it's not Rowdy Ronda. So Jamie picks up the victory here as one of the new Knockouts Tag Champions. Both are holding back as well. Our storytelling match of the evening. Quite near the end of the show, which is true, but you got to keep the fans tuned in for Ronda Rousey. So a 54 promo here. Obviously a lot of that will be deducted from Jamie's promo skills and overness, but I feel like we can sacrifice that with Ronda. We only need one strong promo, and hopefully the overness of Ronda can rub on to Jamie Hayter and get her over quicker as well. But it's just Ronda saying, good to be here in Impact Wrestling, good to get an opportunity. And I felt like, you know, a lot of people have gave me opportunities and I've taken them, and I felt like here I could certainly help people along the way. I see a lot of promise and a lot of potential in Jamie Hayter, and I feel like if she's been let down by a previous tag partner, that with my guidance we can mould her into a really successful pro athlete. So get ready, because not only am I going to take this Knockouts division by storm, or the tag division, when it comes to the push to shove, she will be looking at that Knockouts Championship down the line as well. 54 promo. Still crazy we got her, but as I say, I did try and get Brock Lesnar as well, so that's what it is. And I know just our main event. Yep, simple, effective. Superb matchup. Ace Austin defeats Eddie Edwards in 13-11 with a House of Cards. 56. I'm not going to go face v face. I think it was obvious from the start. Ace Austin's got the promo skills to carry it, but we will be going rematch at Turning Point. Ace Austin versus Phoenix for the Impact World Championship. 56 is a bit disappointing. If 60 plays a 61, the match deserved better announcing. So obviously the fact that we only had Don Callis on call probably affected it. But I made it to steal the show matchup because I knew these two together would do something good. But you can see there, inconsistencies. Stamina is worrying for Ace Austin. Poor gimmick and poor announce. Now hopefully they'll wait with the stamina thing, you can get that to improve over time with Ace Austin. He's young enough that he can develop that skill. Show finishes with a 58, pretty much our standard at the moment. We increase our popularity within 34 regions, and of course our production value is still slow because we have not got the money to upgrade them to where they need to be. We are, of course, obviously going to go straight into our taping, so I'll end the show there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you for next week's taping, of course, including Jeff Hardy versus Stu Grayson. So take it easy. See you soon. Bye-bye.